While The Elder Scrolls 6 is in development, combat is sure to remain a core game mechanic that defines the upcoming game, like every game before it. Whether it's throwing bone bolts at dragons or hacking and dismembering ancient Dwemer contraptions deep underground, players must adapt quickly to stay alive after the first 5 minutes of the game. The Elder Scrolls V: Skyrim is iconic for its opening sequence, which features a deadly dragon attack and almost instantaneous combat for the player. While combat in the franchise has gotten easier to use, a lot has remained consistent and lackluster over the years, meaning The Elder Scrolls 6 could desperately use something new. The combat system of Elder Scrolls can be summed up by the gameplay of Skyrim. Players can find, unlock, and equip various weapons, spells, and abilities using Skyrim's massive skill tree. Players can then level up specific skills depending on the fighting styles they target. While the game is known for having an incredibly open and dynamic battle system, there are still some unseen rules. After all, in many battles in Skyrim, the player character is repeatedly shot and quartered, shot or blown up until the enemy is knocked out. Understandably, there are far fewer nuances than many players would like. Trainable hand-to-hand combat techniques for The Elder Scrolls 6 are a must. With the announcement and ongoing development of The Elder Scrolls 6, players are surely expecting a complete overhaul of the combat system. While very little information has been released about the game's combat system or the game as a whole, the development team at Microsoft-owned Bethesda could find inspiration in many RPGs released in recent years. Two main problems with the current combat system are that melee combat can often be repetitive and clunky, and there isn't enough difference between melee playstyles. Games like Ghost of Tsushima are brilliant examples of what a dynamic melee combat system could look like. Since the Elder Scrolls franchise allows players to use both blunt weapons and knives, there's a lot of potential for a truly innovative combat system that offers unique strengths and weaknesses for each weapon type. While there are trainers in the Elder Scrolls V who can help improve skills, there isn't a real training element involved. The developers could also integrate a system for training and fighting against other NPCs. Similar to Jade Empire, this system can come with special side quests to unlock powerful techniques that set the franchise apart from the pack. Magic in Elder Scrolls 6 should be diverse, dynamic, and knowledge-based. While magic is a predominant part of the Elder Scrolls franchise, it has remained largely the same. Aside from the scream mechanic, which is perhaps the most unique and defining aspect of the Elder Scrolls V: Skyrim, players who decide to become magic users may become bored after countless blasts of generic white magic. One element that makes the yell mechanic so remarkable is that each thumb player who learns has a unique throwing experience, look, and feel. Dragon Age, Pillars of Eternity, and other titles have dynamic magic systems that create choices and consequences for the player, and Elder Scrolls 6 should do the same. One way to innovate the current magic system would be to introduce different pros and cons to using each type of magic. The developers could be thinking about how schools of magic are taught, whether there is a physical toll on using certain types of magic, and even how godlike beings like the Daedra could play a role in the use of magic by a player. Another idea would be to change the way players learn magic. Although books are a convenient mechanism, they are disappointing, especially when compared to study cries. Players could acquire magic through rituals, tattoos, communication with animals, or the favor of a specific god. It would bring a welcome refresh to magic in the Elder Scrolls franchise. Stealth and ranged combat should be unique while remaining balanced. Anyone who's played as a stealth-based dragonborn may have discovered just how overpowered Skyrim's archery system seems to be. This is especially true as stealth combat damage bonuses are incredibly more powerful than any other perk in the game. While this is fun for novice players, the lack of balance can easily make combat stale. One idea to revamp the current system was inspired by the Assassin's Creed franchise and involves making more advanced enemy AI. Additionally, there may be additional restrictions on how stealth can work in specific environments and areas. Archery is an incredible skill in Skyrim, as the current system allows players to aim and track their shots satisfactorily. However, Bethesda has great potential to take this system to the next level and make it the best archery-based combat system for video games. This can be done by allowing players to create, upgrade, and customize their bow and other weapons. Adaptive triggers on next-gen consoles can also provide new ways to use ranged weapons. Everything from carving and adjusting string tension to building a bow in a workshop would make for a more satisfying and personal experience. The Elder Scrolls 6 is currently in development. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and support my channel.